This is mine.
Can I get your attention, please? Let me just give you a little information for today. If you are in need of a ladies' restroom, there's one on the door behind you to the left. There's a men's restroom at the end of this hallway. And there are two more restrooms out this door to the end of the hall. Take a right, take your picture, and you'll be good to go. Also, afterwards, we'll be having a lunch here. If you'd like to just stay here and so forth, it's on a donation basis. It's just going to be some barbecue and stuff like that. So, if you don't have any lunch plans, you'd like to hang out here in fellowship, that'll be great as well. Thank you for coming, and we hope you have a great conference. Bingo. Sound like the principal just made his announcement. Good morning, everyone. If you have not registered yet, please do register. We want to be able to hand that information. Some of you going, oh yes, Lord, how do you know? Amen. We're so glad you're here. How many of you were here last night? Amen. Did we have a great time? Amen. How many of you here for the first time this morning? All right, praise God. Let's give them a hand. Just have one question. Who are you? No, okay. How many of you just not going to raise your hand at all? All right. Well, without further ado, you didn't come here to see me. You came here to see L.A. Marzulli, all the way from Cali. So let's give him a great big welcome. Amen.
Okay, so the people who weren't here last night, we have to start the entire
Yes, but it's only
presentation.
It's only set the
Everyone
lights.
knew, the problem is, and this is okay, because I can't go back. I
You
built
can't use
something,
it, it's
I'm
only the
building
live
something.
stream.
So last night's presentation was on the whole Nephilim, was on what the Nephilim were, and why Genesis 3 is important, and why Genesis 6 is important. So now that I've said that, because how many people were here last night? Can I show of hands? So now those who, I'm going to do this in less than 5 minutes. But you're going to have to pay really close attention, because I'm going to go at lightning speed. All right? Seriously. Jesus warned us that back with things that know us, you will be listening. Then be prepared for what is coming upon the earth. You the elect will be deceived and never follow. These are dire warnings from Yeshua himself. He's warning something, that something is coming and it's not good. Okay? We're going to pass on the ongoing war, but there was a war going on. It's continuing in the heavenly, sheriff, Satan, and the Most High God. They've been going at it. Do we really believe in the supernatural? Do you sitting there really believe in your Bible? Doing things like floating access, talking donkeys, guys walking on water. Do you really believe that water changed to wine, men that are swallowed by fish? It's crazy stuff. And that's what our Bible talks about. It talks about the interfacing of the supernatural with the natural. And yet, somehow when we walk outside the four walls of the church, it's click and we don't listen to it anymore. We pretend it's not there. If we really believe in the supernatural, we should understand that we are in the midst of a heavenly war, and the heavenly war is raging all around us, and at some point in the near future, it's going to fully manifest on this planet. Will you be ready? Creation of Adam, and I'm going to skip that and get right to it. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. If you don't understand Genesis 3, by the time you get to Genesis 6, and Sodom and Gomorrah, and Babel, and the conquest of Canaan, you're clueless, in my opinion. Genesis 3 sets up the rest of the biblical narrative, and it's simply this. There's war between the seed of the serpent, because that's who he's talking to. The Most High God is in the garden. Adam and Eve are over here, the serpent's over there, and maybe there's a bunch of angels around. Who knows? We're not, we don't have a video we can go around, right? But he said, your seed, the seed of the serpent, the sperma of the serpent will be at enmity with the seed. We know that the seed of the woman is blood, sacrificing his blood on Calvary. It's game over. He's got the title keys and he's coming back to claim it, and I think that. But the seed of the serpent has not yet manifested fully. And that seed of the serpent will be the Antichrist. You don't go to Antichrist school to become the anti-Messiah. You don't somehow win the award. You are literally a hybrid being. Part human, just like Jesus was fully man, fully God. Don't ask me how that works. I don't know. That's what he was. Fully human, fully God. Jesus wept when he sees Lazarus. Lazarus is dead. First sentence in the Bible, Jesus wept. He sees Lazarus in the tomb. He knows he's dead. And he weeps. And not only for Lazarus, a little sidebar here, I believe he weeps for the whole human race. So if we don't get Genesis 3, when we go to Genesis 6, where you are, but this is the daughter were born, the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, chose wives, went into them, had sex with them, and the children, the offspring of this unholy union between the fallen angels and the women of earth were the Nephilim. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, the days of Noah, and also afterwards. And guess what? And also afterwards means, and also afterwards. They were here. The book of Enoch basically says the same thing, except instead of the sons of God, it just says the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after the woman. And we know that there's a pack there. The 200 watcher angels come down. This thing goes on. It's not a weekend frat party. It goes on for about 400 to 500 years. They are here. and they are running this planet. And the entire gene pool is completely messed up, except for Noah, 8 people. That's it. That's the only people on the ark. And then, of course, the animals. It's all about the DNA. It's all about the seed. And what the reason for this is that the fallen one knows from Genesis 3 that someone's going to come and take over his kingdom. He knows that. Someone's going to defeat him. He will crush your head. He will bruise his heel. First prophecy in the Bible, coming Messiah. So the counter to that from the fallen share of Satan is basically this. If I can just wipe out the human race, the genome, no Messiah. And he comes that close. He comes that close. And of course, the Most High God allows it to go on. So, Jude does the same thing. Jude connects the angels who did not keep their position of authority but abandoned their proper dwelling. And then in a similar way, Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave them up to sexual immorality and perversion. And some people say it's homosexuality. That was part of it. It was everything all across the board. And what they wanted was sex with the angels, the fallen angels. That's what was going on. The exact term sons of God, meaning how Elohim is used all through the Bible, specifically 3 places in Job, and it's always the sons of God. It never refers to man. It's not man, and it's unthinkable. And most people have never been taught this in church, so when someone like me stands up here and starts saying this, it's like, whoa, well, hey, you're telling me some pretty tricky stuff, and yet it's there. If you do your homework, you'll see that the B'nai Elohim always refers to the angelic host of heaven, as in the days of Noah, Babel. Noah during the Tower of Babel. So it's interesting that this ziggurat was being built, and they say we use brick instead of stone. That's so telling to me. We use brick instead of stone. So in other words, before the flood, there were all these artifacts on a global level. I call it Nephilim architecture, fallen angel technology. Nephilim architecture, fallen angel technology. We'll get to some of that this afternoon. Christian began Nimrod. The bottom line is all you need to know is this. Nimrod became Gibor through ritualistic sex magic. He altered his DNA somehow through ritualistic sex magic. He became a Gibor. He became lean. And then, of course, the Lord comes down to his judgment there, confuses the language. Also, afterwards, when the children of Israel go up into the promised land, who is there? The Nephilim are there. Why are the Nephilim there? Because again, it's move, counter move, move, counter move. The Most God tells Abraham, "Hey, I'm going to make you a great nation. And someone's going to come from your line who will bless the entire earth." Prophecy of the Messiah. Once the fallen cherub, once Satan knows who the Messiah is coming from, he immediately goes after the Jews. They're not Jews, they're just the children of Abraham. He immediately goes after them. But what happens? He says something really weird. He goes, "You're going to become a great nation, but first you'll go to Egypt for 450 years, and then I'll bring you out." And I'm waiting for the fullness of the sin of the Amorites. I'm waiting for the sin of the Amorites to come into its fullness. The Amorites are a Nephilim tribe. See what's going on here? It goes really deep, folks. It goes really deep. We don't have time to get into that because we want to for the second presentation. The bottom line, when they go, the children of Israel go into the promised land, when the 12 spies go in, the Nephilim are there. The Nephilim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Raphaim, the Zamzumim, the Emim, all different names for Nephilim tribes. And we believe that some of these tribes, some of the names actually denote a different genetic characteristic. Og, king of Bashan, or Og, as Doug Hamp likes to call, which is the proper pronunciation. Og, king of Bashan, might have been 13 feet, 12 to 13 feet. That's a really big guy. That being the whole length of the church on both sides, that's probably about 14 feet. We're carpenters here at the break. Measure that for us, will you? I think it's about 14 feet. That's a 14-footer. Give you an idea what we're talking about. Goliath is 9 feet. I will show you in just a second some pictures of 9 feet. And we'll move on. And now you know this is taken from on trail. Then in order for those days and also afterwards. Genesis 3, it's a review. The seed nor seed, the posterity, descendants. Our theory is that Caleb went into the promised land and began to push in. There's a mandate that comes down. This is what you need to know. The mandate comes down from the loving holy God to wipe out everything in the promised land. That is genocide. There's no way around that. There's absolutely no way around it. You can't tap dance around that, and some biblical scholars will. The sin of the Amorites was so bad that God has wiped them all. There's always grace and mercy. It's that the Ninevites. He says Jonah and the entire Ninevites repent because they're human beings. They can repent. The Nephilim, there is no redemption for the Nephilim. And anywhere the Nephilim are, there's always the same judgment. The Nephilim are there, wipe them all out. What do you think the flood's about? The Nephilim were on the earth in the days of the flood, and this is why the judgment found everybody out. Because they're all polluted. They're not human. It's so important to get. As Joshua and Caleb push in, the Nephilim tribes begin to flee. They run for their lives. Some go northward into Europe, come down and settle in the Ohio Valley. It sounds silly, but that's what we believe. Thor Heyerdahl and his best-selling book, Kon-Tiki and prove that you can create a papyrus boat, put a sail on that puppy, sail off the Mediterranean, take you to the Gulf of Mexico. You don't need a map, just the trade routes will blow you right to the Gulf of Mexico. Others came down the Red Sea, out that way, perhaps settling in Peru. What's interesting is we see in Peru a people called the Paracas people that show up there about 3,500 years ago. And when I remember talking to Brian Forrester about this, and he told me, yeah, the strange thing is, LA, that the people seem to be here about 3,500 years ago. We were hoping for a much earlier date, and I just started laughing and I said, that takes my... Because 3,500 years ago is the time frame when I think it's that monitor right there. So if we turn that monitor off or unplug it, that would really be great. Then I can move around the stage. Otherwise, I have a calculator. Yep. Good. So, John's fiddling. So the bottom line is this. Look at the skull on your left. It's got reddish hair. It's much larger than a normal human skull. The cranial capacity is about 25 to 30% greater. This is a mummy skull, a baby mummy skull. And where happened to the skulls? Wifey. Oh well, just continue. Wifey has abandoned me at my post. She's having coffee someplace. This is Joe Taylor on the right from the Mount Blocker Museum. Aaron Jack is on the left. They are unwrapping the mummy skull. Look at the textiles. Look at the hair. And here's what it looks like when it was fully unveiled. You think that's human, folks? Well, that's just cranial headboarding. It's all it is. Just don't worry about anything. Cranial headboarding, LA. We know exactly what that is. We take the baby skull and we bind it with rope or hemp or something and put quick pressure on it to create the skull. And I'm going to tell you that I don't believe that that's cradle headboarding. Yes, cradle headboarding was practiced, but it begs the question: why you get up? Oh, hey Junior, we're going to make you a cone head. Why do that? What are they trying to emulate here? Not you, pal. So look at the blonde strawberry, the strawberry blonde hair, and on the artifact. Let me add a little baby. This is and that one too. This is a female, which is about 26 years old, according to the dentition. This is an 18-month-old child. Now, the lower jaw is missing, so it would be the mandible is missing. So you'd have another like 2 inches. But look at the size of the skull, the cranium, and look at the size here. 26-year-old female, 18-month-old baby. You tell me what we're looking at. These are models, obviously. They're not the real one. So the bottom line is this. We feel that there's an outside agency that's manipulating everything with the seed of the Lord. I mean, it should come as a shock to us. But most of you have never heard this. Most pastors never talk about it. Thank you, Pastor John and Karen, for having me here. I really appreciate it. Because we're armed here to talk about the UFO thing in a minute. I got to get through this presentation first. In 1842, the woman was found who was 12 years old. They because they realized she was. This is a lithograph from 1842, proving, okay, there's all this ringing up here. Oh, there's your speakers. Too. How's that? Any more ring? Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a fetus that was removed from a pregnant mummy, a woman that was mummified while pregnant. Somehow she died during pregnancy. Look at the elongated skull. So I'd love to find this artifact. If I could find the artifact, it would be incredibly telling. Maybe a Teo Museum in Lima, but we don't know. And no one's got access to this stuff, and nobody cares. It is just madness to think that all this evidence is there, and things are manipulated, but I digress. It happened here in the Americas. Every single Native American tribe I've ever talked to has legends of red-haired, six-fingered, cannibalistic giants that were here. You don't have time. This is actually, this is Washington here. These are the reports from newspapers at the turn of the last century. Whale drovers came and found bones of a prehistoric giant 10 feet high. Just go down here, Gulf of California, the skeleton of a primitive man more than 10 feet tall. The discovery was made by a piano organ skeleton, which measured about 15 feet in height. Prehistoric giant, a doctor who was present stated that the man must have been at least 11 feet tall. A discovery in India, a skeleton 31, that might not be true. The bones of a giant 10 feet in height were found near Lewisport. A conversation with a tenured professor said basically this, that men of letters like doctors who proclaim that that skeleton was at least 11 feet tall did not know how to measure. She's a tenured professor of archaeology at Vanderbilt University. Why does she say this? Because it goes against the academic protocol, which is Darwinism. It goes against the paradigm, which is sacrosanct in both academia and the scientific community, which is Darwinism. And what this all points to, we go, why do you do this? Because it points back to the veracity of the biblical narrative, and it shows us that something was going on in antiquity, and we have not been told the truth. Instead, we have been shoved this lie, this Darwinian lie has been shoved down our throats. And there's no proof, it's still a theory. And it's a very bad theory because it doesn't work. We talked about last night, and I can go down this rabbit hole, I can't, because we got to get to the second presentation. This is Ralph Glidden. He's a primitive archaeologist on Catalina. Was there between 1919 and 1921, exhumed hundreds of graves. He's a little more than a grave robber in some ways. He used a pick and shovel. He didn't adhere to the protocols of what an archaeologist would do, but he did find some extremely interesting artifacts. And when I was there, I was allowed to go into the museum and view this cache of record, which had not been seen in over 50, 60 years. This is an elongated skull. You think that's normal? This is found on Catalina Island, which is right outside Los Angeles, on the Channel Islands. You go from Santa Barbara down to San Diego. There's a chain of islands. Look at the skull shape. That's not normal. Look at this skull shape. Here's the baby. And look at this. Found in Peru, thousands of miles away. This is Waikiki. Here's Catalina Island, a couple thousand miles away in Peru. This guy's a 9-footer. I'll show you how we arrived at that. Look at the size of the fingers. So this picture was the one that just blew me away because now I have a direct reference. I have Rob Wood standing there. I got Rob Wood, we know his height, but he's standing in a recently excavated pit. We gave this picture to 3 people. They all agreed that it was not photoshopped in any way. I took the picture out of the plastic casing. I put it down. There were 2 tables like this with white paper in the back room of the museum. I took the picture carefully. I had white gloves on. Play cameras on the tripod. Click. That's what I'm doing. It's not photoshopped in any way. We have this photograph analyzed by 3 different people. Here's what we found. Cut to the chase. We take the photograph, we take Ralph Glidden out of the photograph, and stand him upright. The skeleton is standing upright. And accounting for the distance between where Ralph Glidden is in the pit and where the skeleton is, we have basically a 9-footer. We rounded it down to 8'6". He figured the height was just over 8 foot 9 inches tall. Not to be sensationalistic, we rounded it down to 8'6". So now we've got true photographic evidence of a giant. And another one was 6 fingers. And guess what, folks? We know it corresponds to the Native American legends which talk about the 6-fingered red-haired giants roaming over the Americas. When we went back to Catalina a year after my discovery, they had rearranged the Ralph Glidden exhibit. They shrunk the museum, a much smaller area of the Ralph Glidden Museum, but they still had pictures of Glidden with all the bones and everything else in his museum. This picture was the picture that I discovered. No one knew it existed until L.A. Marzulli published it. It was also on the History Channel. They used it. What's wrong with this picture? Why would the museum deliberately crop the picture? Why would the museum show you this, but not this? You know why? Because they're hiding something, and it's deliberate. Because this proves, especially with the research that I did, that there were giants in the land. And this is made on the History Channel, but we don't have time to look at that. 6-fingered giant, the bowl is 6 inches in diameter, 9 feet tall. Came out in the 30s and 40s. Look at the way the forehead slopes. This is the brow ridge right here. That's probably a mammal, but we're not sure. Look at the brow ridge. Look at the way the skull just basically slopes back like that. How do you take an infant and somehow deform its head like that? I get you can shape it, but to bend it back like that, I don't think it's possible. We're trying to get DNA from this artifact because it's in a private collection in Oregon. The skull on the right is a human skull. The skull on the left is from Peru. This is the largest skull, one of the largest skulls in the Rocks Museum. It's got 25 to 30% greater cranial capacity, as I said earlier. The skull on the left is actually larger. The DNA sampling was taken out of Caracas by the late Lloyd Pye, But I gave it to a geneticist. The geneticist sent us this email. The bottom line is this, that the DNA, preliminary DNA evidence that came back showed that the mitochondria, which comes from the mother side of the family, was not human. It was not Neanderthal, it was not Homo sapiens sapien, it was not Denisovan. It was completely outside anything that this guy had seen, and it blew him away. Here's something for this afternoon, whetting your appetite. These are ancient megalithic structures found all around the planet. This is in Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Why should we care? Because in the days of Noah, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving marriage until the day of Noah entered. They did not know until Noah came and took them all away. So also will becoming the Son of Man be. Why would Yeshua point, and he's got the entire Tanakh to point to, he's got the entire Old Testament to look at. They are not human beings. This is why Genesis 6, because he's saying the days of Noah. Go back and read the Torah. Genesis 6. There's not a human being in the mix there. The females are not a male, because they are the sons of God who are coming down and having sex with the women to create a hybrid being known as the Nephilim. 2 Thessalonians, the coming of all souls according to the working of Satan, all power, signs, and lying wonders. He that morning from almost 2,000 years ago. It'll be like the days of Noah when the Son of Man returns, the great deception. The Nephilim are here. I had a really interesting conversation with a email today, and that's the end of that presentation. How long did that take? 8 minutes? Something like that. So that's a record. And I had to do it, otherwise you guys, and that was like, it took me like over 2 hours last night to go through that presentation. So to give you an idea, you just have the close notes. And I just gave you the highlights. What's important, I think you get an understanding. I want to read something to you. This is from Pastor Mike McClung, who texted me this morning. I know this guy. He's a real straight shooter, straight guy, pastor, loves the Lord. This is what he writes. LA. I think I just encountered an Nephilim hydrant where I go to prayer walk. She was 6'3", white, blonde, blue-eyed, very athletic looking, well-built female jogging. An intense evil surrounding her. She looked at me when we passed, and her eyes changed, pupils dilated to huge black spheres. Welcome to the war. Wow. That's night. It's happening. It is happening, and we'll get into that. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also after. The seed of the serpent will be an enmity of war. The seed of the wolf. That's where we are. That's what's going on. That has gone on in antiquity. It's continuing in modernity, the modern era. Now we're all up to speed. UFO update. Real, versioning, not going away. I want to get this over right now. I usually, where I go when I do this presentation, at some point I ask the audience, how many of you have had an encounter? In other words, show me a hand. How many have seen strange lights in the sky? Had an encounter? Bring them up. A little less than 20, I'd say about maybe 15%. Usually between 20 and 30%, somewhere in there. And people that are skeptical just kind of look around and say, oh my gosh. And there are some of you who didn't raise your hand because you're afraid to raise your hand. But the phenomenon is real. It's not going away. It's increasing. More and more people are seeing stuff. What do we make of it? We've got the answer. The Christian church has the answer. It's not the ancient aliens with crazy Giorgio Tsoukalos hair. It's not that. We've got the answer. It's not entities from Zeta Reticuli or some planet elsewhere. It's not that at all. These are interdimensional beings. This is what I call the coming great deception. And all we've got to do is change one word. Instead of ancient astronaut, just go fallen angels. So you're taking 2 words. Sorry. Instead of ancient astronaut, it's fallen angels, because we track them all the same thing. I can sit there and I go to UFO conferences and they have me speak, and I have a special presentation that I use for them. And it's not necessarily a biblical one. But I get my point across that, folks, the pioneers, the fathers of the ufology movement all insisted, for the most part, that the phenomenon that they were looking at seemed to dovetail more with the demonic than it did that these were extraterrestrials. And of course, that's what we believe. We've got the answer. The church has the answer. Our book, the Bible, has the answer. This is the coming great deception. Jesus warns us that even the elect will be deceived if that were possible. Something is coming here, and it's not good. What is the one event? What is the one event that can change everyone's paradigm on this planet almost instantaneously? Think about that. We are wired together. We are linked up. We are wired together in ways that we've never been in the creation of this planet. When the Fukushima disaster happened, we're watching the tidal wave come in on real time in the comfort of our home. I hope that person made it. That's what we're doing. Shock and awe in Iraq. Shock and awe. How many people know we call it shock? I've talked to rabbis. The correct pronunciation that I've been told is shock and awe. If that's true, just think about the implications of that. It's not Shekinah. Yeah, the Lord came down with the Shekinah glory. Shock and awe. That's okay. So if it is shock and awe, it's very deliberate, isn't it? Shock and awe. But the point is, the grid was lit up. The global network of satellites and television and everything else was lit up. Everybody sat there and watched shock and awe in real time on their TV sets, didn't they? This is the world that we're living in. If something happens and they go on a light grid, and who controls the media? There's a clip I should do the presentation because it's hysterical. And I'll just tell you what the clip is real quick. This is amazing. Remember when gas prices tumbled just recently this year? And it happened because Russia, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, decided that they were going to create a new currency, a new default currency other than the dollar. The entire globe runs on the petrodollar. Oil is traded in dollars, not any of the currencies. Saddam was whacked because he sold oil to Europe and traded it for euros. You can't do that. That's why he got whacked. You trade in petrodollars, power you don't trade at all. So the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are pulling their resources and trying to establish a new global currency. China is constantly devaluing its currency to try to topple the dollar. That's what's going on. So what's interesting is here that when the BRICS nations did that, Russia is the second largest exporter of oil. So then on Conan, the comedian, he had this really interesting clip that went on for about a couple of minutes, and it was very telling. Somebody compiled a list, a video sequence, a video montage of different anchors. The gas prices are on the rise. Now you cut down to Florida. You don't need us to tell you gas prices are on the rise. Now you go up to Maine. You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise. All over the country, they went to 12 to 15 different talking heads, all with the same byline. You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise. It's like, huh? Why are they all eating with the same byline? Because the news is manipulated. Donald Trump was like my Uncle George, literally. I'm just like, I have an uncle who's exactly like Donald Trump. Totally bombastic, I love the guy. But he's like, I look at Donald and go, my Uncle George is running for president? I mean, Trump was sitting down, I talked about this last night. Trump sits down with and he looks at him, no one's ever told you that before. How dare you? Trump doesn't care. He's worth $10 million. You can't buy the guy. Doesn't care what he's going to say what he thinks. That's what's so refreshing about it. Everybody else has to hold their cards real close. Oh, I can't say anything. Don't want to offend anybody. Don't want to be politically correct. Oh my gosh. Anchor baby! Anchor baby, anchor baby, anchor baby. You know, anchor baby! I just love it. Trump gets up there and goes, anchor baby! It's just ridiculous. Some of this country have a kid and he's now a U.S. citizen. Okay, let's go to Mexico and try that. Sorry. How about Yugoslavia? Sorry. How about Canada? Sorry. But somehow in America, you can come here, have a kid, the kid's a U.S. citizen. That's called an anchor baby. It's ridiculous. You can't talk about that because that's racist. Like, no, it's not. I can't go to Mexico and do it. It's not racist at all. It's good politics. You can't do this. You're going to destroy the country. Why not just have everybody move to America? That's it to do. Look, what's happening in Russia right now, this has nothing to do with UFOs. What's happening with the whole Syria, Middle East, ISIL thing, there's this huge influx to Europe. And I said this last night, why don't you just guys go to Saudi Arabia?
Right.
Why are you going to Europe? Go to your own people. Because your own people will take you in. But you'll know those stupid, soft-hearted Christians who are in democracies all through Europe will take you in for the most part. They'll show compassion. Oh, I can just go down right now. Calm down, you're getting a little too excited. It's really. Maybe it was the spicy Cajun sausage that did it. What is the one event that can change everybody's paradigm in doing like that? This is from Burgas, Turkey. From Burgas, Turkey, a UFO appeared in 3 consecutive years, 07, 08, and 09. This is real photographic evidence. It's some of the best photographic evidence I've ever seen. And it shows not only the craft, which is a typical, beautiful dish shape, but it shows the aliens in the craft. You'll see the large heads with the black eyes. So watch. Oh, not yet. This is from Watchers 7. All the shots I'm about to show you, and I think it's a quick blip of the Convergas. All of this has been vetted. All these are real craft. Watch what happens. That's real. Hello. Check that out.
Something is happening. More and more people around the globe are realizing that UFO sightings are real and they're not going away. We'll take you to one of the world's leading experts in UFOs, Jaime Maussan. We traveled to Mexico and interviewed Jaime and his staff. We saw unbelievable things. We'll take you inside and show you that incredible footage. Jose Escobedo will show us what might be hidden structures on the lunar surface. We'll take you to the lab of Dr. Roger there and Stephen Over and examine evidence, physical evidence of actual UFO reality. We'll also show you samples we took from a sphere that supposedly fell into space and crashed into a park. At the fifth hearing on UFO disclosure in Washington, D.C., 6 congressmen got to hear unbelievable things that are actually happening in the sky over the earth.
UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. That's the Honorable Paul Hellyer. He's the former Secretary of Defense of the Canadian government. UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. So is he in that case? Is he wearing tinfoil on his hat? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, space force. It's in existence.
We sat down with Stephen Bassett, the organizer of the conference, and discussed it with him.
Extraterrestrial presence from elsewhere, engaging the planet Earth.
We also talked to Chris co-author of the best-selling book, Exomatic Air. We sat down with Chris and asked him to explain what the Vatican's relationship is with the extraterrestrial phenomenon.
The data says that more people believe in ET than believe in God.
We also interviewed Dr. David Jacobs, who took us inside the alien abduction phenomenon. Dr. Jacobs also weighs in on what he thinks the entity might be to the alien abduction phenomenon.
So, this is real. This is a cigar-shaped craft going into the active volcano in Mexico called Popocatépetl. The problem is there's no crater there. There's a crater, but there's no hole in the crater. So where does this thing go? Yeah, where does it go? This is some of the other diamond-shaped craft that are seen. This is a huge flotilla which went over. See them? That noise you're hearing is the lapping of it by a lake, and that's the lake. See the heat signature on the bottom? I'll show you something here. The craft is rotating. Now I'm going to stop talking and watching this for 5 hours. I want to show you this. Shot here, right here. The 2 dots that you're seeing, that's the moon, and below is the craft. So it's so cool. So there's the moon, and below is the craft. Watch. I mean, is that amazing or what? I'm sure that's you again, because it's just some of the best evidence that it's the Turkish government looked at the film and vetted it. We look at the film and vetted it. There's no Photoshop. There's no nonsense here. Watch this. And this time you see the other portals have been opened up in the ship. There's now 3 other openings, 3 openings altogether. See it on the side of the living part? Other openings in the portal. There's the moon again. This is what's so cool. He just does it several times. You know, just showing us like, I'm not making this up, folks. There's the moon. Above the craft. There's the craft. But I'll say that. This is again. It's really hard to do this. It's really hard to do this. Keep it focused on the object. Here you go.
Although as Minister of National Defense, I had sighting reports.
Although I was Minister, I was Secretary of Defense of the Canadian government, okay? This would be like someone, you know, in our government. It's the same deal. Way high up in the government, this guy, this is what I for this is what he says.
UFOs. I was too busy to be concerned about them at the time because I was trying to unify the Army, Navy, and Air Force into a single Canadian defense force. And that itself was a kind of battle to finish. So this was not high on my agenda. But about 10 years ago, I started getting interested due to a young man from Ottawa sending me material on the subject. I told him that at conferences someday I would. It took me a while to get around to reading it, but I took it for my summer reading in 2005. Was really impressed with what was contained in it. And what I thought to myself is there are huge issues here, huge issues. And the American people and the people of the world have a right to know.
The American people, the people of the world, have a right to know. I agree with that statement. And he's right. The American people, the people of the world, have a right to know
what's going on. Because they're part of it. It's not just an isolated thing. I accept the invitation of Victor Vigiani, who's over here somewhere, and his cohort Mike Bird to speak to a symposium at the University of Toronto. And I said, UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead.
UFOs are as real as the airplane flying overhead. So with that statement and other statements, And all I'm trying to do with this presentation, and it built on the last presentation, is to first establish that something is manifesting. You saw the show of hands, you know that about 15 to 20% of people in this room have had an encounter of some sort. Now, they're all crazy, and he's crazy, or something is going on. And again, it links back to the biblical narrative. It's not apart from the biblical narrative, it's part of the biblical narrative. Satan comes with all signs and lying wonders. That they will believe a lie because they do not believe the truth. What is the lie? The coming great deception. What is the coming great deception? So-called revealing of the extraterrestrial presence. And that's the game changer. When that happens, that's the game changer. But I digress. I'm moving ahead myself. This is just a typical clip that we get once a month. UFO sightings from all around the world. I just give you a taste of it. They've all been vetted. That's what they have this stuff. This is all real photographs you can see. That's really one of my favorites, because it's just a disc over a field. That's the one I saw when I was 12, but it was much higher in the sky. What do you do with that? And you know, when people see it, there's a thing called psychological term called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you're looking at something or hearing information, and you don't know how to process it, because you can't process it. In other words, if I told you that somehow the towers coming down on 9/11, the Twin Towers, was controlled demolition, and Building 7 was controlled demolition, and you kind of go, what? Yeah, that's crazy. No, I saw it, and it's not controlled demolition. If you haven't, this is nothing to do with this presentation, this is for all of stuff. Bottom line is, Google Building 7 and watch Building 7 come down. It's a physical possibility. And this is why over 1,700 engineers and architects all over America, engineers and architects, have put their jobs and careers online by signing a petition calling our government to open up a real investigation into what happened, because it ain't jiving. It's not jiving. Of course, our federal government doesn't do anything because it's all controlled. Just like all the information. You don't need us to tell you that gas traps can back up cracks. You don't need us to tell you that, folks. It's on the rise. You don't need us to tell you that Building 7 is about to free fall speed, which is a physical impossibility. And when you watch it collapse, it goes like this. Here's the roof, 40-story building. And your roof buckles like this in the center, and then it goes down. It's controlled demolition all day long. All day long. Now, if you don't believe me, and you've got nothing to frame that within, that's called cognitive dissonance. You sit there and your brain goes, no, that goes against everything I've learned as a child. Our government loves me. Policeman on the street is my friend. You know, all this stuff, right? Right? That's what we're in school. It goes to my government. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Look, I'm a constitutionalist. I love our Constitution. I love this country. But I don't like the weasels in Washington who are controlling it. And they're applying onerous laws on us, specifically the tax law, which are burdensome. You know, if you're an independent business owner, everything is stacked against you. If you're a small business, everything is stacked against you. And now with the new gay law, this has nothing to do with everything. We're in the last days. If you're with the new gay laws, if you don't bake the wedding cake, what happens? Are you kidding me? I'm for pushback. I'm for pushback. Because I have it up here, and everywhere I go, the people that and that's why it's time for pushback. Anyway, watch this. Watch this. The size of the triangle. That's the big craft. This is one of my favorites. See right here? Watch it jump. Watch. Here's the crabs. Move back. Here's the crabs. Let me show you. There it is on the left. Now again. Watch again. The thing is, here's a crab and it just jumps in space and it appears over here. How's that possible? We're looking at a different physics. We are looking, wherever these entities are, where these beings are, they can manipulate time, energy, matter, and space in ways that we don't understand, in ways that are beyond our physics. And guess what? When entities, the biblical entities, when biblical extraterrestrials, because anything that's not of this planet is, look, Yeshua, in the classic Jesus, in the classic sense, is an extraterrestrial. The angel Gabriel, in the classic sense, is an extraterrestrial. They're not from here. They're extraterrestrial. But we're not talking the type of ET nonsense that we see on the History Channel. This is all biblical information. Angelic beings dwell with the Most High God. And when they show up, what do? They manipulate time, energy, matter, space, time, matter, energy. That's what it is. They can manipulate it. They walk through the world. Like with Peter. We'll get into the whole abduction thing. When Peter's in the jail cell, right? I'll tell you ahead of time so we can be shorthand when I get to it. Peter's in the jail cell. Chained to a wall. The angel shows up, just walks right through the wall. Ta-da! Peter looks around, not sure he's awake or asleep, dreaming, not sure he's all fogged up. Looks around, everybody's asleep. All of a sudden, the chains fall off. The angel hasn't got to pull him. Let me try this. It's not doing it. He's not doing it. The chains just fall off. And the jail cell just opens by itself, you know. How's he working that? The angel's not going, ready, 1, 2, 3, open sesame. He's not doing any of that. The jail cell opens by itself. Walk out in the corridor. All the guards are fast asleep. No, we don't do that. If you're a Roman soldier and you're a guard, you fall on your sword the next morning if you're caught sleeping. Which is why you don't go to sleep so you don't fall on your sword. It's real simple. How do you keep somebody awake? You fall asleep, you fall on your sword. So, you know, you stay awake. You go up to the prison door, opens by itself. How does that work? Again, any keys here? You know, how does a huge prison door like that, which probably took maybe 8 to 10 men to open, how does that open by itself? How? The angel, which is a good one, is manipulating time and space, matter and energy in ways that we don't understand. It is beyond our physics. It is the miraculous. Welcome to the world of the supernatural. Welcome to our Bibles, which we profess to believe in. Last night I said, how many people believe in the supernatural? Well, no, I said, how many people believe the Bible is true? Every hand goes, oh! How many people believe, you know, that Mary was a virgin? Hey! You know, how many people believe that Jesus walked on water? Hey! And then it's like, when they say all these things, everybody's like, yes, yes, yes. And then you go, and here's the punchline. You realize how crazy all that is. You know, you're talking donkeys, floating accents, 2 gold coins that appear out of the mouths of a fish. I mean, are you serious? You know, Jesus tells them there's no humor in the Bible, right? So Peter is out with Jesus. They're all running around for like 3 years. They're having a great time. Peter's married. He's got kids. So it's school time, and you know they got to get a new sandwich for the kids and papyrus and all this stuff to run on. So plus the taxes aren't paid, and Peter's wife had it up to here. And you know she's going like, I don't get the taxes. I'm going to want me once, whatever it is, right? So Peter goes over to Jesus and he's all freaked out. You'll pay our taxes. Okay? For Jesus, there's no humor in the Bible. None at all. So when Jesus goes, okay, go down to the lake, throw your net in, catch a fish, open its mouth, there'll be 2 gold coins there. Pay your taxes, and mine, by the way. So Peter's going, oh, God, probably goes up to John, maybe James, who knows how many he's up to. You guys aren't going to believe this one. Tells them the story. We're going, oh, look, he healed the blind guys. I know, but this is nuts. Oh, look, we're all fishermen, right? Yeah. He goes, 2 gold coins, come on. They go down because they know who he is. There's no humor in the Bible. They throw the line in, they catch the fish. So what do you think they'll all do? You open his mouth. No, you open his mouth. No, you do it. Come on, you do it. They get down, they open the mouth, 2 gold coins pop out. Now, what's the first thing that they do? oh, thank you, Father, for providing us with these children. No, they're just cracking up. They're going, no way! Are you kidding me? Maybe there's more out there. Let's try it again. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. But there's no humor in the Bible. Instead we get, and then Jesus threw the line in the water, and thus he fell to the fall. And then he came forward and received the morning off. I mean, that's what we got. Owie! You know, that guy. The Princess Bride. Okay. The abduction phenomenon. Something is going on. And it's not good. And people are taken in the dead of night. From 5 years old to 45 years old. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Oftentimes it's generational. The grandmother's been abducted, the mother's been abducted, the daughter's been abducted, right down the line like that, which is really strange stuff. And what happens in the abduction, you're like Peter, you wake up, you look over, you're paralyzed. Your eyes can move. You see that there are beings in the room. You look over, if you're a woman, you look over your husband, he's completely asleep. If it's vice versa, your wife is fast asleep. And then the fun and games begin. And of course, it's not fun and games. Robert Salas was on a ballistic missile base as its commander in 1967. When a reddish-orange UFO landed near the front gate, it disabled all 10 missiles. Intercontinental ballistic missile site. These are the big silos that go down to the ground. If the Ruskies sent the ballistic missile over, we're set to ours. It's total annihilation, everybody's dead. Welcome to the 20th century. Nothing's changed. 7. Somehow the UFO is able to completely disable all 10 of the missiles. How is that possible? How is that possible? Everyone's freaked out. Later, other bases have the same thing happen with various witnesses, including Captain Bradford Runyon. We saw the ship from his B-52 bomber. It was also plotted by radar. So you've got multiple witnesses on radar. Obviously, something is going on. Later, Robert Salas read a report that a 20-ton missile silo door lid had been removed and placed on the ground during the UFO intrusion. We don't know how many bases have the same thing happen. There was more than one. Years later, Robert Salas was abducted. So we're seeing this all happen like in his maybe late 20s, early 30s. Now he's in his mid-40s, and he's not a good thing. He's not a happy camper guy. He gave us the exclusive story from Roger's Aid that is chilling. And look, I've interviewed hundreds of people, and I've watched body language real carefully. He was very nervous, even talking about it. He choked up a few times, and it's very intense. What's interesting here is this report about the 20-ton missile silo lid, which was picked up and moved. No one picked it up. It just levitated and moved. No one saw it levitate, but that's what happened. It levitated, picked up, and moved to the side of the missile silo door, of the actual silo, thus allowing the missile to be launched. And now, if you're working at an intercontinental ballistic missile site like that, and that happens, you are freaked to the nines. Are you kidding me? Freaked to the nines. Are they going to launch the thing? Is it activated? Oh my gosh, I just started World War III. That's what you're thinking. That's how crazy it is, right? But I point out the missile silo because this afternoon we're going to talk about ancient megalithic structures. How did they move 120-ton stones? Why carve a stone like in Baalbek that weighs 1,800 tons, 1,800 tons? Why do that? Why would you make something like that? That's 70 feet long. 70 feet is roughly where Pastor John is to the back wall. Roughly, that's about 70 feet, might be a little bit more. 14 feet to the bottom, 16 feet out to about here from the wall. That's the kind of column we're looking at. This is stupid. I mean, it is. Okay, ready? Lift on 1, 2. Come on. Do we have cranes today that can do this? Yeah, we do, but it's like there's no vestiges of any of this stuff. When the archaeologists go in, they expect to say, well, you must have the tools that cut this stuff. It's not there. There's no diamond blade saws. And yet we see drill marks, and you'll see this afternoon, drill marks marks in the holes, and you can see where the bit is turning in andesite or in granite. It's there. There's some kind of tooling that's used, but the builders are long gone, and the machinery that did this are not there. So now it's years later for Robert South back on track. He's laying in his bedroom, and there's a blue mist that comes through the door. We hear this often. Blue mist, blue light, that kind of stuff. And here's something that you need to understand. If you have any type of experience like this, don't be curious. Review first, ask questions later. Review in the name of Jesus. If you find you're paralyzed and you can't sin, you think the name of Jesus. Amen. That's our strength. We put on the armor of God. We put on the helmet of salvation. Where do we get salvation from? From Jesus. That's what we're putting on. We're putting on the helmet of salvation. Give us the mind of Christ. Take the breastplate of righteousness. Who is our righteousness? Certainly our own righteousness is like filthy menstrual rags. That's what it is. We have no righteousness. Our righteousness is in Messiah. Know the truth. Who is truth? And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Right? The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. What's the last scripture? And we beheld his glory. The glory is that of the only begotten Son of the Father, filled with grace and truth. Thank you, Father. Filled with grace and truth. Belt of truth. Shield of faith. Peace, the shoes, right? Lost. Who's the Prince of Peace? Who is the Word of God, the sword of the Spirit? When we put on the armor of God, we're putting on the shield. We're realizing that we stand here. That everything that we do, everything that we are, is because of His authority. Peace that I have in my heart is because of Him. The faith that I have is because of Him. The truth that I speak to you, and the truth that the pastor speaks is because of Him, because of His Word. Everything revolves around Him. Amen. Last time I talked about the Matrix people. And there are people on this planet that are Matrix people. They know all the baseball scores. They can tell you, RBIs from the second baseman of the Chicago Cubs from 1947 to the present day. It's insane. They can't quote John 3:16 and all that. In fact, today we read this thing. We read in Ephesians the idea that the natural man has no idea. They're looking at the things that God doesn't understand. It's exactly where we are. What will Kim Kardashian do tomorrow? Golly, I have no idea, but we don't care. American Idol. I remember the first season we watched this thing, the Fever, Soul Patrol. All these people with signs, it's like, it's so stupid. And the people on there, Taylor Swift, with all due respect, Taylor, mediocrity and go-go. Right. I mean, can you imagine if they had a Chopin contest? They don't have that. They always dumb it down. They dumb it down. Look at the show, the violence and the body counts in the movies. You go see a movie, within the first 5 minutes, 40 people get killed. Are you kidding me? He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. This is where we are. And Matrix people walk around on this planet, and this is all they know. Baseball scores. Yeah, I got my new car. And all that's fine. Baseball can be fun to watch, I get that. But with everything that's going on, I got my shoe shine at the airport. Okay? I got my shoe shine at the airport. And this is like 16 years in one spot in LA. Everybody knows this guy. All the again with all just negative. It's just fantastic. and they're sitting there when he's got everybody comes through. Hi Marvin, how you doing? We all know. And he's telling some, the guy sitting next to me, and I sit down, and Marvin's in the middle of this really seedy, vulgar story. And I'm sitting there going, oh, Matrix people. That's what they talk about. This seedy nonsense. So I'm praying, and this guy finally leaves, it's my turn to get my shoes shine. And Marvin did a really good job, as you can see. And so I look at Marvin and go, hey Marvin, a couple thousand years ago, prophecies were written that were talking about wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, earthquakes, and diverse places, and troublesome times. You think we're in those times now? And Marvin just kind of went, hey, ho! like that. He goes, well, you know, I've been praying, but I should. Just like that. Just like a sister. And I'm going, you know what, I'm a pastor. Let me pray for you. So, you know, just like I didn't say that. I mean, I did say I'm a pastor, and then we talked about the Lord. Steered away from the matrix. Okay, so Robert Salas is sitting in his room. He sits up, Buddha's coming to the door. He sees hooded figures. He's terrified. And so would you be? He realizes at this point that he's paralyzed. Now he's levitated off the bed. What's wrong with this picture? We're not in Kansas anymore because you can't levitate people off the bed. You can't do that. At least not in our physics. That's impossible. And yet we see Jesus walking on the water. Here's another little story, a biblical story that shows us that there is no humor in the Bible at all. Remember this. Don't be laughing here now because you have to be serious. This is the Bible. This is the Holy Bible. God doesn't have a sense of humor, which is why we have laughter, right? Because God doesn't have a sense of humor. We're made in the image and likeness of God, but we have laughter. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe God laughs too. Isn't that interesting? So Jesus is with his disciples. And he goes, why don't you guys get in the boat? I'll catch up with you later. What's wrong with this picture? What's the first clue that something's not right? Well, how are you going to catch up with us? There's no speedboat here. Okay, we'll get in the boat. We'll catch up with you. So they're out there going in the boat, right? It's all Homer Simpson. They're all and so Jesus is out there praying. He's not doing what he's doing. Now he's going to go goof on the disciples, and he's always goofing on them. What I mean by that, it's totally God thing. He's not a prankster. It's not, but he's always bumping up against them. He can do stuff that they have no idea. And he's God. So he's going to have a little fun because, you know, he's the Messiah, he's God, he's fully man, fully God, the whole deal. So he waits for it to get a little dark. And then he starts to stroll on the water. He just takes a little evening stroll. This isn't going to freak out the boys. Oh, wait till they see this. Now the gentle Jesus is going, hey guys, I'm walking on the water, don't be afraid, it's just me. He doesn't do that. And he doesn't come up to the ship. I mean, he could be running around the ship going, he's not doing any of that. And he's like away from the boat, and he's just walking on the water, get free. Ah, go! Right? And he's just going, he's going to come again. There's no humor in the water. Absolutely none. My favorite one, I'll just tell you one more story, the resurrection story. I tell this almost everywhere I go, but this is great. Jesus is dead, he's in the tomb, it's over. The disciples are free, everybody's free. They're in the upper room, they're thinking they're next. The Romans are going to come and get them, the Jews, the Pharisees are going to come and get them, they're going to get crucified, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? So they're all in the upper room. All the doors and windows are locked. Now the gentle Jesus, you know, the Jesus we see in Sunday school is black around his shoulder, looks like a white guy. I am Jesus, I like wondering. I mean, that's what we we don't get the gentle Jesus. We should do this. Hey guys, it's me, Jesus. I'm just risen from the dead. Can I come in? Please don't be alarmed. No, he comes walking through the wall. Ta-da! And they all totally freak out. They totally freak out. They completely lose it, right? They do. And we read this stuff in our Bible. We lose the sense of what's going on there. You know, instead we get a mantle came through the wall, we get the downward thing, and the disciples, the sword of faith. Are you kidding me? They're going, oh my gosh, what's going on, guys? They're absolutely fried. Hey, it's me, guys, look. Come touch me. I'm gonna go. And then he does a whole body thing. What do you guys got to eat? Come on. Total God thing. I'm hungry. What do you guys got to eat? This guy starts eating the fish. Are you kidding me? Are you? And then, at some point, the guys are starting to laugh. Remember what he did to us on the water? Right? He's always bumping up against them. Always pushing them. I can't wait to see it. Okay, back to Robert. This is the longest abduction in history. Poor guy's still floating over the bed. Roll me already, will you? So now they bring him across the door, and here's the window. And Salas tells us on the video, watch it. He's like this. He's going right to the window. He goes, I locked the window last night. I know the window is locked. I can see that the window is locked. Are they going to unlock the window and open the window? That's what he's thinking. The window isn't unlocked, and he goes right through the window. future physics. Can't do that, it's a physical impossibility. You can't, it's not a Houdini trick, you can't go through the window unless you got help from them. And that's why I told you the Peter jail story. Because these are the bad guys, these are the fallen guys, but they have the same properties as the good guys. Remember, Hitler's a human being, right? He's got the same senses that we do, the same five senses, he's got a little computer brain up in his head, but he uses everything for evil, doesn't he? Right? But he's a human being. Well, it's the same thing with our pastor here, who uses his five senses and his brain to do good, to do the Lord's work. Disparity between the two. Same thing with the fallen angels and the good angels. The fallen angels have the same properties and the same capabilities as the good angels, but they use them in nefarious ways. The good angels, when they appear, we all short circuit, I get that, but they use them to promulgate the will of the kingdom. Salus goes through the window. This gets a little graphic. He finds himself on the metal table. Now, if these are friendly aliens from Zeta Reticuli, surely they must know that this man is terrified, and he is terrified. He's paralyzed, and he's absolutely terrified. So he's wide awake. He's close, and he's on the table. And this guy shows him a needle about this long. And Salus is absolutely freaked out. And they take the needle and they insert it into his manhood. And the pain is absolutely excruciating. That is deliberate. That is torture. That's sexual abuse. I mean, it's wrong on so many levels. That's what these people are doing. The sperm is extracted from him, and it's a female ovum is taken. That's what they do. There's a genetic manipulation going on. As in the days of Noah, so it will be when the Son of Man returns. The seed war, the seed of the serpent will be a war, and everything will see the woman. What are we seeing now? Exactly the same type of thing, except it's slightly different. The paradigm in which it operates on is slightly different than it was in antiquity in the days of Noah. But the same stuff is going on. So, you say, well, do we have any physical evidence of that? That's an interesting story, but how do we know that the man is lying? Welcome to Bill, who came to us, who claimed to have been abducted. And he claimed to have been abducted when he was 5 years old, and then he said he believed he had an implant below his right knee. So that's an interesting story, Bill. So Dr. Marzulli, who took out 17 implants for people, had a protocol which people would use if they wanted to get the implant extracted. There's a whole, protocol being set in place to weed out the people who are looking for attention and the nutcases for people who want help. The people that are abducted don't want any notoriety. For the most part, they don't want any notoriety. They're embarrassed about it. They're shocked about it. They just want the stuff out of it. And they want the abductions to stop. Part of what we do is when we get calls for people who are being harassed or being abducted, first thing we do is lead them aside. I can't help you, he can't. I can't help you. Well, I know Jesus, and I go, look, if you think you know Jesus, but you don't know Jesus, you don't know Jesus. You know him personally. Well, what do you mean by that? Then you don't know Jesus. You don't know Yeshua. You don't. If you have to ask me that question, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you think you know him, but you don't know him, you don't know him. And you need to know him. So part of what we do is we lead people to the Messiah. So that's the only way out of this thing. There's a power greater than those who are abducting, and we call upon his name to help show. So the first thing we do is we get Bill and we take him into the X-ray, and we get an X-ray. See on the bottom of the screen, right above the letter 6, see that little thing? That's the implant. Right above the letter 6, the number 6, the letter 6. Right above the number 6, see the little implant? That's right underneath the skin in the muscle tissue. See it? I don't see it. Okay, look at the number 6.
Very bottom.
Very bottom. Very bottom of the screen.
Right hand side is on. We don't even see it.
You see it? Yeah, I know. And that one is not even working, right? It's right. Lower, right over the eagle. Right over the number 6. You see it? It's really small. A little gray deal. Looks like a little worm.
Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down. Yes, sir. See it? Oh, it is, Peter. Okay. So, that was the X-ray. Then we took him into a CAT scan. When we got the CAT scan done, guess what? There's the implant, the metallic implant. Then we took a Gauss meter, which measures the magnetic field. And the Gauss meter showed that this little object in this guy's leg was giving off a signal of 8.0 to 8.5 milligauss on the Gauss meter. How is that possible? It also gave out a radio frequency of 330 hertz. How was that possible? And then we took him to the ultrasound. The doctor, the surgeon, was going to remove the implant from him. And he took him with an ultrasound machine. Took the wand, put the gel in the guy's leg, took the wand like this, found the implant within 2 minutes. Okay, you have a metallic object there, we'll see you in 2 weeks, we'll remove it. So you can turn the lights back on. So now, it's the day of the operation. Bill is there, he's on the table. We have 3 camera crews. We've got 10 to 15 witnesses in another room watching the proceedings on a QC monitor. We've got doctors, we've got nurses, we've got administrators. It's a whole big, huge production for us. We can't believe it. And I'm thinking, oh, we'll be out of here in 30 minutes just in time for lunch. No problem. Boy, was I wrong. So the doctor takes the ultrasound machine, takes the wand for this thing, and looks at the x-ray, puts a little black dot where we believe the implant was. Squirts a little gel into it for the next hour and 20 minutes. 1 hour and 20 minutes. He goes over the same strip of flesh over this guy's leg, like this with the ultrasound, with the wand. He can't find anything. We take the Gauss meter, flat line. We take a stud finder, which goes all over this guy's body. That's like everything is wacky, everything is crazy. Can't find this thing. After an hour and 20 minutes, he finally looks up and he goes to the doctor, maybe we should get another x-ray. The doctor says, look, we've already done that, we know it's there. And Steve Colbert, the chief scientist, goes, well, maybe they came and took it out. I was going, nobody took it out. So we're sitting there at that moment, and there's only 2 believers that I know in the room. There's Richard Shaw, the co-producer and the director of Watching TV, and my business partner, and me. We're looking at each other, and I get a tap on the shoulder of the Spirit, what do we got? And where the Spirit tells me, you need to pray. You need to get authority over this. So here I am in a room with unbelievers. Now this is not, we're not to abuse this, but when the situation arises where we need to step into who we are, without any apology, we need to step up to who we are. We don't have time to explain to everybody what we're going to do, because they won't understand it anyway. So what I said was, hey, this is going to sound really weird, but I'm going to pray and I'm going to do it now. I took authority in a nice way. I didn't slap everybody upside the head. Okay, get on your knees. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. I just said, we're going to pray to do it now. And it wasn't a religious prayer. Oh, Father in heaven, who hears all every cry. Nothing like that. It was just, Father, if there are forces which are cloaking this device, I pray that you would break their power and do it now. That's all I said. Bam. Short little prayer of the Lord. Less than 2 minutes later, the image that you see here floats like this. You're just looking at a blank screen, all of a sudden that image just goes boom without the sound effect like that. It just comes in out of nowhere. Everybody goes, whoa, what is that? Everyone's freaked out. Richard and I look at each other going, oh my gosh. 2 days later, we're in SEAL Lab. I take Dr. Roger there aside. But Roger, I hope you realize what happened in that room. Roger was a Jew. Okay? Roger didn't believe in Messiah. Roger was a really smart guy. We used to take him out to lunch every couple of months. We hang out with him. He was like our favorite uncle. Just a character. And he would drop these little bombs on me at lunch just to see what I would do. One of the ones I remember, he was sitting there eating just a tuna sandwich, just enjoying lunch, we're having a nice conversation, a low conversation, and he drops this bomb on me. What about the nuns who kill their babies? What about the nuns who kill their babies? That's indefensible. I look at Roger and go, well, that's indefensible, Roger. Of course it's crazy. Oh, okay. That's the kind of stuff he was throwing. Because he didn't understand Messiah. He didn't understand his stuff. He didn't understand the supernatural. So here we are in the hall. Roger, what we realize, what happened in that operating theater. He looks at me, his eyes get real big, and he goes, LA, I now believe that there's a supernatural component to the UFO phenomenon, and I'm going to tell what we figure about that. And the last time I saw Roger alive, 7 months later, we got a massive heart attack. There we go. They harassed him all the time. So we take the implant out, and this is what it looks like. You're a little squeamish, you might want to keep your head down for this. This is real shots. And the reason why we do this is because when I started talking about implants 10 years ago, yeah, you talk about being laughed to derision. Oh, that's just the craziest thing I've ever heard of, right? People would just laugh about it and ridicule from other Christians, right? No one believed it. This is all demonic delusion, LA. There's no such thing as implants. I'm right. So, what do you do with pictures like this? And that's why they're here. So here it is. You make the incision. Now that we found where the object is, you make the incision. You open up the incision. Here's the first shot of the implant. See the tweezers? See the scalpel? He's got the implant in the tweezers, and now he's cutting the implant and removing it, about to remove it out of the way. This is Dr. Roger there assisting. And that's what the implant looks like. It's encased in a rubbery-like film. And when we go in to seal that, we place it on a little underneath the microscope, which we can bring up to about 30 mag, so you can see what you're doing. You take a razor knife and a pair of tweezers and you slice the thing open, and then inside is the metallic implant. And then we take that implant. The older ones are able to cut. Some of the older ones will crumble. The newer ones are so hard that you can't cut them with a diamond blade saw. Dr. Roger would have to take it into a laboratory and have them slice it open with a laser. So they're evolving. This implant was put in Bill 40 years ago. He's now 45 years old. This implant is one of the older ones. This has been going on. This is hardcore scientific proof of something that's going on. And it's all on film. You can, when you watch Watchers 8, you'll see the Gauss meter, you'll see the hertz, the 330 hertz show up. You'll watch the stud finder show up. You'll see the X-rays. You'll see the CAT scan. It's all on film. And that's why we did it. Because what did the skeptics say to that? Crickets, you don't hear diddly squat. Not a word, because it's indefensible. They can't defend themselves. The only thing is there, well, Marzulli and Shaw just made all this stuff up. Oh, really? For what? To sell DVDs? Are you kidding me? The phenomenon is real. The technology is real. Who's building a New Jerusalem? Who's building a New Jerusalem? You think God just blinks his eyes and the New Jerusalem is there? New Jerusalem descends from the heavenlies. Sounds like a huge, giant mothership to me. On some level. Is it a pyramid? Is it a square? It's huge. It's 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. It's huge. And you can have one level here, and another level could be 5 miles up, and you wouldn't see it, basically. Above you. I mean, 5 miles up. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This thing is absolutely humongous. Guess what? It descends to planet Earth. And New Jerusalem, the city of heaven, comes down. This is beyond science fiction stuff we're talking about. We read it. And I believe every word of the Bible. Well, so do I. That's crazy. 1,500-mile wide city coming down. What? And yet we believe this stuff. I believe it. I can't wait. Can't wait to see the city. Can't wait. Run around. Let's go to the little tip. Like a kid in a candy store. The supernatural is real. Technology is real. They have, look, go to Ezekiel. They have these like weapons, and they go into the city and they put marks on people's heads and they kill other people. How does the angel wipe out 180,000 Syrians? Where does the angel of death who goes over Egypt? What is the mark, paschal mark of the lamb? Right, the lamb is blood on the door, signifying the cross. And the angel of death passes over the firstborn of the Israelites. I mean, think about this stuff. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Philip is translated. He's taken from one place and transported to another town miles away. How is that possible? And this is the stuff we believe in. Gold coins coming from the fish's mouth and that walk on water. It's crazy. It's beyond the supernatural. It's beyond science fiction, I should say. It's totally supernatural, and our Bibles are filled with it. We've got the answer. And all we need to do is understand that the supernatural is manifesting, and the other side is manifesting like crazy right now, because he's ramping up, because he knows it's time to short. He's not on earth yet. I mean, the great eviction has not happened yet. Where Michael and his angels fight with Satan, his angels, and Michael, trying to Satan, his angels, and Satan gets evicted. It hasn't happened yet. That's huge. We're stuck here. The way he takes off. Because now he's in this space-time continuum. He can't get out. He can't get out. And that's why he's tipped off. So there's the implant. It's Dr. Roger Miller and myself. I just want to check my time here. 12:04. Let's take a place to take a break. I'll finish this up when I come back. And let me just see where we are. We're on slide 38. You gotta go to slide. Well, you can see where we are. We're on slide 36, and you gotta go to 104, whatever it is. So it's a good place to take a break. We'll pick this up when we left off. If we have time, we'll get into the next one. Okay?
If you would like to join for lunch, if you don't have any other plans, just write out these doors, tell us your call, and some donation favors. Thank you.